Right. එතකොට ළමයි we discuss about like until the third position, like until the third question, right? So today we are going to work on the fourth question, and that fourth question is related with the system development life cycle, right? Or the system lesson. So the first question that they're asking is identify and describe the pace of the waterfall model in software development. So I'm going with the mark in here, right? So the answer for the fourth question, yeah, it goes like this. Right now when they are like taking the waterfall model over here, they have take something as an abstract or like a summarized model, right? But when it comes to the waterfall model, right, requirement analysis, then after then okay මුලටම තියෙන ටික, right? අපි අපේ ටියුට් එකේ දීලා තියෙනවානේ පියවර 6ක්, right? So ඒ ටික settle කරගන්න. දැන් මේගොල්ලෝ ටෙස්ටින් වලට පස්සේ මෙතන මේ මාකින් ස්කීම් එකේ තියෙන දුර්වලතා ඒව එතනදී මාකස්ලා ලියා ගන්නවා. දැන් මේකේ ඒක ලියන්න කලින් ස්කෑන් කරපු එකක් ඇත්තේ. So the same steps will be there, right? Let me show you the steps in our note. මම හිතන්නේ කට්ටියට මතක ඇති. Right, so these are the paces, right? So the we define what is the system is, then we analyze, then we design, then we develop, then we test, then we implement or deploy, and we maintain, right? So the same goes like this. So the system definition, system analyzing, system designing, system development, system testing, system implementation or deployment, right? And system maintenance, right? මෙතන ළමයි implementation කියන එක ගාවට ඇල ඉරක් එන්න ඕනේ. මගේ අතින් මිස් වෙලා තියෙනවා. Right? So those should be there in your answer, right? So all 7 steps should include inside the waterfall model, right? So if you got all 7 steps, you can take the full marks, right? So they have given 2.5, like considering like 0.5 for each point, right? So if you got all 7 correct, take 2.5. If anyone is missing, reduce 0.5, right? ඒ කියන්නේ දෙකක් ලියලා තියෙන කෙනාට මන් ලකුණු දෙන විදිහට ලකුණු හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද 0.5 අඩු වෙනවනේ. එකක් හරි අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවා නම් 0.5ක් අඩු කරගන්න. එතකොට 5ක් අඩු වෙනකොට ලකුණු බිඳුවක් වෙනවා. right? Right, so the next question, and people, when I'm discussing, if it is like එක තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් speed up වෙනවා වැඩි නම් just disturb me and ask again, right? So the next question, describe functional and non-functional requirements of a system. Identify 2 functional and 3 non-functional requirements for a mobile phone, right? So when it comes to a mobile phone, we can say like a lot of functional requirements, right? Now, when you are writing it, remember to write it with the standards, right? So since this is the very first paper, I don't know whether they have okay. මෙතන මේගොල්ලෝ දීලා තියෙන්නේ points ටික විතරයි මාකර්ට, right? You should write it in a way that the functional and non-functional things should have been right? So you know what's the way we should use shall for the essential part and should for the non-essential parts, right? So it's better you goes with shall here, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ උත්තරේ දෙනකොට like shall be able to make a call, right? වඩා හොඳයි ඕගලන්ට කියන්න පුළුවන් නම් mobile phone shall be able to make a call. Mobile phone shall be able to send a message. Mobile phone shall be able to receive a call. Mobile phone shall be able to receive a message, right? දැන් මෙතන අද කාලෙට ගැලපෙන විදිහට අරගත්තොත් නේද functional requirements තව වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? දැන් mobile එකක් කියලා ගත්තම we are not only talking about sending and receiving messages and taking and receiving calls. So we are like thinking about the storage, we are thinking about the camera facilities, right? So අදට අදාළව මේක ලිව්වොත් එක්ක ඔයගලන්ට question එක restrict කරන්න ඕනේ mobile phone like කියන්නේ old fashion mobile phone එකක් හරි මොකක් හරි ඒගොල්ලන්ට කියන්නේ calls send කරන්න receive කරන්න එක විතරක් enable කරලා තියෙන එකක් විදිහට නැත්නම් generally question එක ඇහුවොත් මේ question එකම ඔයගලන්ගෙන් අද ඇහුවොත් so you can write many different things, right? So functional requirements, as we talked, and the marking scheme is also saying services expected by the user. So any service, so sending a message, receiving a message, right? And having a call, taking a call, receiving a call, right? Even taking a photograph කියන එකත් දැන් මේකට දාන්න පුළුවන්, right? So those kind of things are going to be the functional requirements. හැබැයි හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න දැන් mobile phone එකක් වගේ අහනකොට like go for the major functions first, right? So if it is a telephone, we majorly use it for the communication, right? The communication අතෑරලා මුලින්ම phone camera එකයි ඊළඟට recordings ගැනයි don't go for those stuffs, right? So be logical on those places, right? And in non-functional requirements, the things that the system constraint and limitations we say, right? Or like the functional requirement says what we are expecting from the system, or like what is the services provided by the system, and when it comes to the non-functional requirements, it says how good or how bad those services are given to you, right? So when you are providing those services, you should consider about like when it comes to the mobile phone, it should be considered about the size, the price, right? The battery life time, right? And the memory capacity, the appearance of the phone, right? The user interfaces and the connectivity options, right? So those kind of things, right? And if you take a modern phone, you can talk about like having dual SIM facility, right? That is a non-functional requirement, right? And it is going to be a nice to have one, right? So likewise, you can define those things, and again when you are defining that then මෙහෙම size price කියලා ලියලා හරියන්නේ නැහැ, right? එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ කියන්න ඕනේ mobile phone should be in a range of a affordable price, right? Mobile phone should be shall be mobile phone shall be able to fix into a the trouser pocket or the cloth pocket or something like that regarding the size, right? So mobile phone shall be able to have a better battery lifetime, right? So likewise, you have to explain it, right? Shall be able to provide a user-friendly interface, right? Shall be able to provide a nice looking appearance, right? Or like attractive appearance, right? Likewise, you have to tell, right? නිකම්ම facts ලියලා තියෙනවා නම් ලකුණු ගන්න එපා, right? So they are asking about 2 functional requirements and 3 non-functional requirements. So They have given 1 mark for each one and zero point 0.5 for the non-functional part, right? So have that. මේ මෙතන පහළ ලියලා තියෙනවා මේ සිස්ටම් එකේ තියෙන දේවල් ටිකම කියන්නේ SDLC එක ගැන කතා කරපු එක. Right? So the next question is talking about describe the purpose of unit, integrated, and acceptance testing. Who are the people responsible for each testing process, right? So you have to describe the testing and you have to say who are responsible for that, right? So in that matter, they are talking about unit testing first. So the purpose is to test the individual source programs for logical errors. So something regarding that. So you have to clarify. So it's a small unit is being tested for any bugs, right? And the people who are involved in that, definitely the programmer should be there because he's the one who's taking care of the unit, right? So, and again, you can go with the software engineer as well, right? And when it comes to the integration testing, so the purpose is the units will be integrated together or like combining together some of the units, right? And test for any errors, right? That is the integration, that is what is happening with the integration testing. And people who are involved in programmers can be there, software engineers can be there, and project managers, team leads, right? And senior software engineers. So it's kind of a like when it comes to the integration testing, we can use both white box and black box techniques to do this, right? So if it is done in white box technique, then definitely the programmer or the software engineer should be there because he's the one who's know what happens inside the system, right? And integration testing can be carried out in a black box testing as well, right? So when the black box testing is carried out, the person who is testing that does not need what's happened, does not need the knowledge of what happens inside the what you call the system, right? What he needs to know is like what should be given as the output when the some particular input is given, right? So the people can be involved with the programming knowledge or without the programming knowledge, right? So in that case, software engineers, programmers, senior software engineers, team leads, project managers, so those kind of things can be there. And after the integration testing, we are normally doing the system testing, right? They haven't asked about that. So system testing, it's in most of the cases, it's going to be a white box test, right? So again, project managers, senior software engineers, team leads, those people can be there, right? And when it comes to the acceptance testing, it's the client, right? So the in the acceptance testing, what they are doing is like they are handing over the not actually the handing over given the chance or the facility to the client to test the particular program and to check whether all the requirements or like the requested requirements are being met, right? So in there, definitely the end user or the client will be one of the groups, and the other, it's going to be some people from the software development team or like the project team, right? So the way they are asking you to have the marks is like the purpose, it is given 0.5, and for the correct people, it is given 0.5, right? So at least one correct person should be mentioned, right? So if you got it on that manner, you can have 1 mark for each category. So altogether, it will create you 3 marks, right? And part D, it is talking about, suppose you are planning to buy a new mobile phone and would like to test its functionality. Describe how black box testing can be used in this process. Yeah, so like as the end users, like all around the world, the end users are always interacted with the, or like always executing a black box testing, right? Because we don't know what's happening inside the system. If we take a mobile phone, we don't know what's happening inside. If we take a calculator, we don't know what's happening inside. Likewise, if we take a software, maybe we may have some idea, but we don't know what actually happens inside the system, right? So, but what we can do is, we can, like, if we have the knowledge, or if we have the idea for what purpose for this system is using, so we can apply some inputs and see. If you take a calculator, you just do a calculation and see whether it is providing you a particular output, or the correct output. Like you will input 2 plus 3, those are inputs, then you will expect for 5. So if it is giving you 5, so you can have the idea, okay, this is working correct, right? We can't like check all the possibilities, right? Maybe it is not possible, or maybe it is, there is no sufficient time to do that. But there are ways that you can check a particular system using the black box testing, whether it is functioning or not, right? So when it comes to the marking scheme, so it says any explanation with following key features is acceptable. Decide the functionality, decide the expected output, conduct the test, compare the actual behavior with the expected one. So now, ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රශ්නේ කියවුවම, right, you should have that idea, right? So they are asking, describe how black box testing can be used in this process. So you have to explain how it is going to use. So if it is a new mobile phone, like the functionalities that we are major focused on, that means like taking a phone call or sending a message, right? So you can go either of the scenarios, right? So you can say the test case, or the test that you are going to carry out is the checking whether a particular phone call can be made, right? So it should match with these things. So the functionality is checking whether the phone is able to create a call, right? So the expected output means, once we create the call, it should be connected with the other end, right? So we conduct the test. How we are going to conduct the test? We will give some mobile phone number and press the particular button, or like we press the phone call button to create a call, right? So then we are expecting it to be connected with the other party. So if it is get connected, then we say the test is passed. If it is not being connected, so we have to check for the errors. So when we are like checking for the errors, it can be a problem of the system, or it can be a problem of the connectivity. There can be many, right? So you don't have to tell like what's happened when it goes wrong or something like that. You have to say this particular thing. So the expected output is like connecting with the other end. So we are checking whether it is connecting or not, right? So that is how it's going to compare, or like we describe. Okay, people, is that clear? Do you got any questions regarding that? Everyone? Okay, so I guess it is done. All right, so anyone who has done the 7th question, the Python one, the fifth one, I'm sorry, the Python one. Right, okay, so here we go. So the Yeah, hold on a second, people. I have to fix this into the power. Okay, so the next question, explain the necessity of program translator in computer programming. So program translators are there to convert the human readable codes, or like the high level programming languages, the codes which is written by high level programming languages, into the machine readable language, or the machine readable code. That means the machine code, right? So without that, the computer will not be able to understand the instruction that is given by the programmer, because programmer is typing things from a human readable language in a way that he can understand how it is. So translators are there to convert that human readable code into ones and zeros, which we call the machine code, right? So in this context we are talking about both compiler and interpreter, right? So compiler will convert the entire code at once into the machine code, then it will run and see for any errors, and interpreter will convert the high level language code, or like the source code, line by line into the machine language. So then it is executed as well, convert and executed. So if you find any error at the middle of the conversion, so the program gets stopped, right? Compiler ge machine code එකට convert කරනකොට program එක stop වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හේතුව එයා errors තිබ්බත් නැතත් total program එකම compile කරලා machine code එක බවට පරිවර්තනය කරනවා. So then after it's trying to run, then and there it will check for the errors, right? But interpreter will convert line by line and execute at the same time. So like before it converted into the ones and zeros entirely, there can be errors or error messages due to the mistakes that we have done, right? So let's go with the marking scheme. So it says computer cannot understand the programs written in any language other than the machine code. Therefore, language translators are needed to translate such program to the machine code prior to their execution. So that kind of a idea should be there. So you should say the program is written in high level language or the human readable language. It's better you say high level languages, right? And which cannot be read by the machine, and it should be converted into the machine code which can be understood by the machine. So that is where the translators are come, right? That is the purpose of the translators. So translating high level languages into the machine code, right? So 2 marks are given. So if you got the idea, go for the 2 marks, right? So next they are asking about a comparison. Give 2 main features for each of the first generation and second generation, not a comparison actually, the 2 main features of the first generation and second generation programming languages. So first generation programming languages, it is a machine code, so it can be easily understood by the processor, right? And do not need any translations, right? Can be executed directly, right? Those kind of features can be written, and it is the fastest. It has the fastest way of execution, right? When it is executing, since the machine code is in ones and zeros, so the same program, if we take it from a high level language, the machine code will run fast because it is already converted into ones and zeros. So it needs only the execution. But if the same program comes with the high level language, it needs some time to convert it into the ones and zeros, and then it executes, right? So it's comparatively slow. Second generation language, it's the assembly language, and it is little bit like very in a very little manner programmer friendly, right? And still it is tied up with the machine architecture, right? That means like if you write the particular program into a one particular processor or one particular computer, you have to write the same program again as a new program for another particular machine, right? And again, the assembler, the translator called assembler, is need to convert the assembly code into the machine code, right? So that can be given. Yes, Bashita, languages dekama machine dependent. Machine code එක කොහොමද machine dependent. Assembly එකත් machine dependent. Machine independent වෙන්නේ high level languages විතරයි. Right? ඒ කියන්නේ second generation එකෙන් උඩ කතා කරන දේවල්. Right? So it says two features from each generation will have you 2 marks. Right? So each correct answer contains 0.5 subject to maximum of 1 for each generation. So the hammer can එක point එකකට first generation එකේ points දෙකට 0.5 second generation එකේ points දෙකට 0.5 then. Right? So හතරම හරිනම් ලකුණු දෙකක් තියෙනවා. Right, මෙතන මේ second point එක කියලා තියෙනවා mapping between assembly instruction and machine instruction is usually 1 to 1 කියලා. මොකක්ද ඒකෙන් කියන්නේ? Like if you got 10 lines in assembly language, you are getting 10 lines from machine language as well. Right? ඒකල කෙලින්ම එක line එකක් machine language එකෙත් එක line එකක් බවට තමයි පරිවර්තනය කරන්නේ. So that is what we call 1 to 1 translation. When we are doing high level language, it is not going to be like that. The one line of an high level language will be translated into many lines of a machine language, right? Okay, so moving forward, in the third one, they are asking about give 3 main flow control structures using structured programming language. Show how these flow control structures can be presented in a flow chart. So there are 3 flow control structures, which is sequence, selections, and the iteration. So you have to draw how these things are being presented in the flow chart, right? So it's very easy. Sequence means the things which, the instructions which executes one after the other. So like you can have process after a process, or like you can have input after a process, likewise. However, like you should indicate a flow with process and inputs, or only with process or only with inputs. It doesn't matter. Condition එකක් involve වෙන්න බෑ උතන්ට. එකකට පස්සේ එකක් සිද්ධ වෙනවා කියන එක පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ. ඒතර ඒක process ඔය විදිහට process දෙකක් පෙන්වුවත් අවුලක් නැහැ. inputs දෙකක් තියෙනවා කියලා පෙන්වුවත් අවුලක් නැහැ. input එකකුයි process එකකුයි තියෙනවා කියලා පෙන්වුවත් අවුලක් නැහැ. Anyhow, you should indicate this happens one after the other. Right? And the selection, මෙතන branch in decision කියලා කිව්වට the best name is selection, right? So selection, it says due to selection, දැන් මට මේ ඇඳලා තියෙන එක ඒ තරම්ම satisfy නෑ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ selection එකක් අඳිනවා නම් දන්නවනේ අඳින විදිය නේද? මම මෙතන එක සැරයක් විතරක් ඇඳලා පෙන්නන්නම්. It's not a very hard task to do. So if you want to indicate a selection, I'm sorry, if you want to indicate a sequence, you can simply draw something like this. එතකොට මේ වැඩේ complete කළා මෙතනට selection කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. I'm sorry, sequence කියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? If you want to show a selection, right, this is going to be a one good way of showing that. It's very complete. ඔයගලන්ගෙන් ලකුණු අඩු කරන්න බෑ කාටවත්. Right? right? So you can say this is the selection, right? So the same way you can indicate the iteration, right? Right. So this is what you call an iteration, right? So likewise, draw something complete, right? So if you have drawn that particular things, they have given you how many? 3 marks. Yeah. So like should name it, it will acquire you 0.5, and should draw the symbol, it will give you another 0.5. දැන් ඔය උත්තර ලියනකොටත් paper marking එකේ තියෙන දේවල් හරියට study කරන්න ලකුණු දෙන්නේ එහෙම, right? සමහර අය ඕක නිකන් ඇඳලා දාලා එන අවස්ථා තියෙනවා වැඩේ හරි කියලා. ඒකට ලකුණු හරියටම භාගයක් නැති වෙනවා, right? 3ක් එන්න තියෙනක 1.5 එන්නේ, right? So since it is the advanced level, you have to be very precise when you are providing your answers, right? Okay, in the D part, they have given you a particular program, and they are asking for the syntax errors in the question, right? So here they have taken the particular places where it is given you the error messages, or like the syntax errors. In the first input statement, they are missing a double quote at the end, right? And again, they are missing another bracket. මොකද මේකේ input එකේ bracket එක open වෙලා තියෙනවා, int එකේ bracket එක open වෙලා තියෙනවා. So they only close one bracket. So there are two errors. Enter and after the enter an integer and this dash and the greater than mark, there should be a double quote, and there should be another bracket. So two errors. The same error goes with the 11th line, right? So it gives you 4 kind of errors, right? And here in the third error, it is not been indented, right? Because while is a compound statement which starts from a keyword, ends from the colon, right? So it should indented, I'm sorry, it should indent. So this is not been been indented. So that's the other error, right? And here the remainder equals to equals, we use double equals as a comparison operator, not as an assignment operator. But here the purpose is assigning x remainder 2 into the variable called remainder, right? So it is another error, and this semicolon is another error because we don't use line terminators at the end of the each line. හැබැයි මතක තියාගන්න, semicolon එකෙන් පස්සේ ඔයාට තව දෙයක් ලියන්න පුළුවන් ඔතනට, right? ඒක චුට්ටක් කොල්ලෝලුවට දාගත්තට කමක් නැහැ. But I'll show it to you. right? මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙයක් ළමයි මම කියන්නේ. If you put a zero here and you put a semicolon over here, it was working as I remember, right? මෙතන eve dot equals 0 semicolon, then odd dot equal eve c equal odd c equal 0. The lines දෙකක් මගේ තියෙන්නේ. Then after I am asking for another number, right? So මම මෙතන print එකකුත් දෙන්නම්. Right, just to show it is executed. Right. So if we run this, it runs, right? So I'm going to give a value so as 5. I'm sorry, not there. Here. I'm going to give a value as 5 and press enter. So it will print me the 5. So as you can see, no errors were occurred. But let's say whether this is going to give me any errors. Right, I think it's supposed. Right, so now I'm going to run this. So I have a semicolon over here. So after a semicolon, I have gone for a new line. Right, so I'm running this. So it is asking for the save. Oh, is it working fine? It's going to be a problem. එතකොට ඒක syntax error එකක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි. අන්න marking scheme එකේ අහුවෙච්ච නැති දෙයක්. Let me try it again over here. Yeah, it works perfectly. If I, let's see whether it is with the, yeah, they have used a semicolon inside a statement like this. And I don't think so it is giving me any problem as well. No, assignment එකක් නේ තියෙන්නේ. Cannot be. Yes, ළමයි ඒක එතකොට අපිට error එකක් කියලා ගන්න බැරි වෙනවා ඇත්තටම. Right, so in the question that they are asking is, the following Python program is intended to convert user-given positive integers to their equivalent binary representations. The program should hold when the user inputs the value 0. The program has both syntactic and logical errors. The line numbers are not part of the program, but they are used to reference the lines. State the lines with syntactic errors and state the error. And people, this semicolon is not going to be a syntax error for some reason, right? So yeah, ඒක ඒ marking scheme එකේ reflect වෙන්නේ නැතුව ඇති, right? So anyway, I'm going to give that marks for you, but remember putting a semicolon is not going to give you any error. But it's like this, there is no rule for you to put a semicolon at the end of the line, right? එහෙම නෑ. දැන් මේක Pascal වලදී අපි පාවිච්චි කරා නම් Pascal, it has a rule. You should put a semicolon at the end of the line. එතකොට ඒ වෙලාවේ semicolon එක දැම්මේ නැති වුණොත් Pascal කියන language එකේ definitely it's going to be a syntax error. But here in the Python, they are not like popping this up as a syntax error. So they are expecting, they are accepting it. So literally, right? So the fifth one, we can take it as a syntax error, right? Yeah, and we have a new one in the room, neither Sean, right? Sean, good morning. We start the session at 8:30, Pudha. So we are still clearing up the 2011 end parts, right? So later we are going to start the 2012 one. Right. So the eighth question, the eighth line, it has a error which is being unwantedly indented, right? Because this is the compound statement, and these things are being indented correctly, but it is indented unwantedly, right? Or like the additional indentation happens, right? And we talk about the seventh and eighth. So it is missing the double quotes after the greater than mark. And then there should be a particular a parenthesis, which is the end bracket of the int function, right? So those are the things or the syntax errors that we can find over here. So if you got all eight correct, right? Anyway, you are going to have the marks for the fifth one, right? So they have given you like if all eight correct, it's 4 marks, right? And how the 4 marks is given, the the indication of the line, it is 0.25, and the error, it is 0.25 again, right? So that is how they have given you 4 marks, right? So have it correctly, people, right? May line number 6, line number 7 walata, you can have the marks, right? Is that clear? Any questions, people? Okay, so moving to the next one. So in the part 2, they are asking which line of the program should be changed and state how they should be changed to obtain the desired result. Then in my opinion, this program, it is a little bit hard to hand trace. මොකද ඒකේ වැඩ කීපයක් කරන්න තියෙනවා, but it's challenging, right? As I told you, right? But we have to work through it and see how it happens, right? Now, if I hand trace this to you, right? Let me take the correct program from the marking scheme. Hold on, let me see whether I can. No, I won't be. Yeah, this is the program that they have given. And this is the place that they have done the correction, right? So this is the correct answer I have taken. All right, so let me cross-check it with the marking scheme. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Right. Okay. This should be inside this while. Right now, hold on a second. මෙතන එකේ හතරක් නෙවෙයි තියෙන ළමයි. එතන තියෙන්නේ double quotes දෙකක්. Okay, let me check. Yes, this is okay. That is okay. Yes. Now, the thing is, now this is the correct answer, right? Now, once you have made the, once you correct the syntax errors, you can see they have put an additional bracket and they have put this double quotes over here, right? They have taken out two equal signs, which was there, right? And they have taken this bn into the correct position, right? It was the one which went wrong. I'm sorry, x equal quotient thing. They have taken it to the correct position, and here the place they have got it changed. Right, you can see what are the changes that they have done. Now here in the 7th line, you can see the statement is like bn equals bn plus str remainder. But in the answer, they have changed it, right? And nothing else is being changed. Yeah, there's a one change over here because bn has taken, like bn is been back indent. That means like it is taken out of this particular y, right? But api syntax errors correct කරාම අපිට තියෙන්නේ මේක ඔන්න ඔය විදිහට, right? ඊට පස්සේ මෙතන ටික තියෙන්නේ right, like this, right? එතකොට අපි මෙතනින් තමයි final answer එකට එන්න ඕනේ, right? අපේ මේ bn equals කියලා තියෙන line එක මෙයාව change වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මේ line එක back indent වෙනවා. එතකොට ඇයි එහෙම වෙන්නේ, right? ඒක තමයි ඕගොල්ලෝ figure out කරගන්න ඕනේ. So that is why we are going to hand trace this. දැන් අපි syntax errors okay කරාම අපිට program එක එන්නේ ওই විදිහට. හැබැයි මේකේ logical error එකක් තියෙනවා. right? Then first you have to understand what is the purpose of this program. The purpose is once you have given an integer, it gives you the binary number of that integer, right? So that means if you are given let's say අපි මේක ගන්නකොට සාධාරණ ගානක් ගන්න, right? then මොකද 7 වගේ ගත්තොත් you are going to have 111, right? which is ඒක සමහර වෙලාවට ඔයාට අවාසිදායක වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක නිසා අර even නැති කෙනෙක්, right? ඒ කියන්නේ 1 0 1 1 වගේ කෙනෙක්. එතකොට එයා සමමිතික නැහැනේ. ඒ වගේ කෙනෙක් අරගත්තා නම් හරි. right? so this represents what? 8 to 1, that means 11, right? so that means once you have provided 11 over here, from this it's going to provide you 1011, right? so that is the purpose of this, right? so let's assume we are given 11 as the input, and let's check whether it is going to give me the correct output, right? so let's assume x is given as 11. so from the very first one, x is given as 11, right? so here we go. so it's the first while it is asking whether x is not equal to 0. so x is not equals to 0, it is 11, right? so then they say equal an empty space to bn. so bn is going to be a string variable. to indicate the empty space, I'm going to put an underscore. කියන්නේ ඕගලන්ට underscore එකක් දකින්න හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ program එකේ. නමුත් මට අර empty space එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා indicate කරගන්න තමයි මම underscore එක මෙතනින් ලියන්නේ, right? so this is called the empty space, right? so then the next condition. so here it is asking whether while x is larger than 1. yes, x is larger than 1 because it is 11. so it says quotient equals int x divided by 2, right? so here what it say, like you divide the x by 2 and convert the number into an integer. that means the decimal part will be taken out, only the integral part will be considered, right? so x divided by 2 means 11 divided by 2, it's going to give you 5.5. once it is converted into the int, it's going to be 5. so quotient, I'm going to take it as q, right? quotient is going to be 5, right? so this is q, right? මම ඔය q අරගත්තේ මේ මුළු නම මෙතනට ලියලා දික් කරගන්න අවශ්‍ය නැති නිසා, right? so remainder එක මම r කියලා හිතනවා. so remainder is taken like x remainder 2. so x remainder 2 means x is divided by 2, and what is the remainder will be equals to the r. so once 11 divided by 2, so remaining is 1, so 1 is given to the r. so then it says bn equals bn plus str remainder. so this means you take the current bn, so it has an empty space, and concatenate plus bn is a string. so plus indicates concatenation, අලවන එක කරන්න, right? concatenate the remainder by converting it into a string. so remainder is 1. so this will give you the empty space and 1 over here, right? so that's how the concatenation happens. then later it says quotient is given to the x. that means hereafter x is going to be 5 because q is 5. I'm sorry, yeah, quotient is 5, right? so then it says bn equals strx plus bn. Still we are inside the while according to the our answer. අපි දැන් syntax errors ටික අයින් කරපු answer එක තමයි මේ තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ. paper එකේ bn දීලා තියෙන්නේ second while එක ඇතුළට. right? second while එක ඇතුළේ තමයි bn ඉන්නේ. right? ඒතර ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් මේ වැරද්ද අහුවෙන තැන මම ඔයගලන්ට පෙන්නන්නේ. So here it says convert x into a string and to its right hand side attach the bn. So bn means underscore one, that means empty line, empty space and one. So x means 5, right? So bn assign කරන්න කියනවා x for string එකක් කරලා, that means 5 and ඒකට bn අගට එකතු කරන්න කියනවා. So this is going to be the bn now. Now then after it will goes back to the while loop and checks the answer, checks the condition, whether x is larger than 1. Yeah, x is larger than 1, but after this while execution, here you have to indicate the bn, or you have to output the bn. The bn මෙතන build up වෙවි එන්නේ. එතකොට bn ගෙන් අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ it's a binary number, but we can definitely say bn is not going to be a binary number because there is going to be 5 inside it, right? So from that point you have to figure out this particular line should not be inside the while, right? while එක ඇතුලේ තියෙන්න බෑ. දැන් මේ උදාහරණයේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ you can't add or remove any of the lines from the program, but you have to change it to have the correct output. So for that reason, the only option that we have is taking this out from this while, right? එතකොට මෙයාව inner while එකෙන් එළියට ගන්න ඕනේ, right? එයා ඇතුලේ තියන්න බෑ. ඇතුලේ තිබ්බොත් වැඩේ අවුල් වෙනවා. Is that clear? එතන clear ද ළමයි? If you got any questions, you can ask. අවුල ළමයි? Right, okay. How about others? One says it's clear. How about others? Right. Okay. All right. So right. So what we have to do is we are going to take it out from the while loop, right? එතකොට අපිට program එක change වෙනවා. right? මම දැන් මෙයාව එළියට ගන්නවා. right? එතකොට උඩ while එක කෙලින් එන විදිහට මම එයාව change කර ගන්නවා. right? එතකොට once we change that, this will not happen. මේක සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද ඒකෙන් තමයි පහක් ඉස්සරහට connect උනේ යාට. right? එතකොට උඩට return වෙන්නේ මෙන්න මේ point එකේ ඉඳලා. right? right? So අපි දැන් ඔතන ඉඳලා ඉස්සරහට යමු. Right? දැන් x quotient x එකට quotient එක දුන්නා. ඒ කියන්නේ q assign කරා x ට. දැන් අපිට x ගාව තියෙන්නේ 5 ආපු තැන. x is 5 now. Right? Now we go and check the condition again whether x is larger than 1. So x is larger than 1. So again, quotient is taken by dividing x by 2 and converting it to an int. So 5 divided by 2 will give you 2.5. So that means quotient will become 2 because it is converted into an int. And Bn says Bn equals Bn plus str remainder. Before that, remainder is calculated. This is calculated as 2 and this is calculated. X is 5. 5 remainder 2 means again 1 is going to be there, right? So then it says Bn equals Bn plus str remainder. This happens. So far the Bn is this underscore 1. So we are asking to add the remainder, which means 1, to the right hand side of the Bn. So it will modify, the empty space will be here. Empty space 1 is the one which was there already and it is getting another one. Right? So we have given 11 as the x. Right? මෙතනට අපි 11 කියලා තමයි දුන්නේ. Right? And as usual, quotient is assigned to x. So quotient is 2. Now x will become 2. Right? So then it goes back again and checks the while. So x is larger than 1. Yes, x is 2, which is larger than 1. So correct. So comes to the next line, calculating the quotient. So 2 divided by 2, which is going to be 1. 1 is converted into the integer. So it is 1 anyway. So quotient will become 1. The remainder is calculated. 2 divided by 2, so no remainders. So that means 0. So the remainder is given the value 0. So it says Bn equals Bn plus str remainder. This happens. So that means the remainder will be added to the right hand side of the Bn. So it's going to be underscore 1 1 is the one which is existing. So now a 0 is being pasted, right? And again, it goes up and check, right? So it is asking whether while x is larger than 1. Now, hold on, we missed the quotient assigning the x part. මෙතන අපිට බැරි වුණා මේ bn එක modify කරාම quotient එක x ට assign කරන්න. quotient එක දැන් තියෙන්නේ 1. ඒකට x ට assign වෙනවා එයා 1 කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ තමයි උඩට ගිහිලා check කරන්නේ. So x is larger than 1. Now 1 is larger than 1. That is the question is asking. So it is no. 1 is not larger than 1. 1 is equals to 1. So that means from that point in the condition is going to be a false and it comes to this particular line once the condition is false. Right? So this says Bn equals str plus Bn, strx plus Bn. So now x is what? X is 1. So the 1 was string එකක් කරන්න කියලා කියනවා. ඒකට අමුණන්න කියලා කියනවා, attach කරන්න කියනවා the x word. Right? So it's going to give you something like this. strx is 1. X was string එකක් කරාම. So the existing Bn, you can see it over here. This is existing Bn. So it's going to be pasted over here. 1 1 0. right? Which is going to give you a problem again, right? මොකද එයාට පස්සේ මේ bn එක print කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. දැන් bn එක print වෙනකොට එක හිස් තැනක් එක එක බිඳුව. කියන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම උත්තරයක් එනවා ඔයාට. right? ඒ කියන්නේ එක හිස් තැනක් එක එක බිඳුව. Now we have given 11, right? 11 should be how? 1 0 1 1. But you have given this. So what is the problem? අපිට එක සැරේ ටැකල් වෙන දෙයක් තමයි මෙයාව මෙතනට අමුණන්න කියලා කිව්වම මේ strx එක මෙහෙම දාගන්න කියලා කිව්වම මෙතන හිස්තනක් තියෙනවා ඒක ගැටලුවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපි str එක මෙතන නැතුව මෙතනට paste කරොත් අපිට පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ ඔය කියන්නේ මේ පද දෙක මාරු කරගන්න පුළුවන්. bn ව වම් අත පැත්තට දාලා strx ව දකුණු අත පැත්තට දාන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට වෙන්නේ _110ට ඇඩ් වෙනවා 1 කෙනෙක් දකුණු පැත්තේ කෙළවරට. But still it is not the answer we want. Right? හැබැයි අපිට පොඩි දෙයක් ඉන්ඩිකේට් වෙනවා. මේ තියෙන ආන්සර් එක මේ පැත්තට ලියවිලා තියෙනවා කියන එක. right? 1011 එන්න ඕන එක 1101 කියලා ලියවිලා තියෙනවා. right? ඒක නිසා තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ මාකින් ස්කීම් එකේ කියන්නේ මෙන්න මෙයාව මෙන්න මේ oops I'm sorry right මෙන්න මේ ලයින් එක ඕකේ දෙන්න දෙපැත්ත මාරු කරන්න කියලා. මොකද වෙන්නේ එතකොට ඔයගලන්ගේ මේ bn තීරුව මම ආයේ රිවයිස් කරොත් මේ දෙන්නම මාරු වුණාම bn හැදෙන විදිය වෙනස් වෙනවා. කොහොමද හැදෙන විදිය වෙනස් වෙන්නේ? මුලින් හිස් තැනක්. ඊට පස්සේ str එක attach වෙන්නේ යාගේ වම් අත පැත්තට. කලින් attach වුණේ දකුණු අත පැත්තට. එතකොට හැදෙන්නේ දෙවෙනි එකේදී ඔහොම. තුන්වෙනි එකේදී හැදෙන්නේ මේ විදිහට. හතරවෙනි එකේදී හැදෙන්නේ 110. right? දැන් මේ ලයින් එකේ කියලා තියෙන විදිහට I'm sorry මේ ලයින් එකේ කියලා තියෙන විදිහට x string එකක් කරලා bn එකේ ඉස්සරහට අලවන එක ගැටලුවක් නෑ නේද? මොකද තියෙන්නේ මෙයාගේ ඉස්සරහට එකක් අලවනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඔන්න ඕක හැදෙනවා. දැන් අපිට ඕන උත්තරේ ජෙනරේට් වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මොකද හිස් තැන කියන එක අපේ නේද ලුක් එකට ගැටලුවක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අවුට්පුට් එකට ගැටලුවක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. right? ඒ නිසා තමයි මේගොල්ලෝ අපි මුලින්ම කරපු වෙනස්කම මේ නිල් පාට ඊතලේ ඇඳලා තියෙන තැන එයා කලින් හිටියේ while එක ඇතුලේ. So we take it out. That's the first change that they have done. Then they are like changing these places. right? එහෙම කරලා තමයි මාකින් ස්කීම් එකේ මේ ෆයිනල් ආන්සර් එක ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන්නේ. right? ඒකේ str remainder අරගෙන තියෙනවා ඉස්සරහට. This line is being back indented. හරි. එතකොට ඕක කරන්න ළමයි වෙලා යනවා නේද? right? දැන් අපිට කතා බහ කරන්නම පැය භාගයක් විතර ගියා. right? So that is why I told you it's challenging. right? ඕක ඔළුවෙන් හද යනකොට වාට ඊට වැඩි වෙලාවක තුරු කරගන්න පුළුවන්, but it is challenging again. right? ඒකයි ඔයගොල්ලෝට hand trace කරන එකයි algorithm build up කරන එකයි solid වෙන්න ඕනේ for you to try the Python question. But in 17, 18, 19, 20 ඔය හතරේ Python question එක study කරලා බලන්න. It is comparatively easy than the previous question papers. right? මොකද panel එක වෙනස් වුණා. panel එක වෙනස් වුණාම මේගොල්ලෝ Python එක ළමයට කරන්න නැත්නම් try කරන්න හිතන විදිහට ගාන හදාගෙන ගියා. right ඒක නිසා ඔයගලන්ට දැන් A papers කරනකොට තේරෙයි Python එක try කරන එක හොඳයි කියලා. මොකද Python කියලා කියන්නේ අර gates question එක වගේ තමයි. If you do it, you can have 15 out of 15. So they were solid answers. Right? විස්තර කිරීම වගේ you're not going to lose any marks. right? හරියට ලිව්වොත් ලිව්වම තමයි. right? හරි. වෙච්ච දේ clearද? ඔව් ළමයි? ළමයි, is it clear? Right. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. So that's the end of the fifth question. Right. So we have the very last one. Right. The sixth one. So it is regarding the e-commerce and the new trends. Right. So I'll go by the marking scheme. So it is asking, using an example for each category, explain 3 types of businesses: B2B, B2C, and C2C in e-commerce, right? So this is how they have gone for that. So valid business entries, they have taken as manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers, service providers, something like that. So the explanation is given: business to business describes electronic commercial transaction between businesses, right? So it's better you say a business is doing a transaction electronically or online with another business. So that is what you call B2B, right? So when it comes to the examples, you should give something that can happen in real world, right? It's not, we don't need to use real entities, right? ඔගොල්ලෝ ඇත්තටම ආයතන ගැන හිතා ලියන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ, right? So now look at the examples that they have given: delivering motor vehicle by the manufacturer to the wholesale dealer through online transaction. So that kind of a example should be given, right? So when you are giving an example, you should elaborate there are 2 business parties and the transaction happens online. So it says delivering motor vehicles by the manufacturer, so one business party, to the wholesale dealer, the other business party, through online transaction, right? ඕක ඔය questions වල හරිම common, right? So if you find any questions regarding these type, it is always asking for those facts. Sender should be clarified clearly. Sender means like the seller should be clarified clearly. Buyer should be clarified clearly, and the transaction is happening online should be clarified clearly. That is what they are expecting, right? So likewise, business to consumer describes electronic commercial transaction between business to a consumer, right? That idea should be there, right? A business providing a service or a good via online to a consumer, right? So that is what you call business to consumer, right? And again, the appropriate example here they have given: processing an online order to purchase a mobile phone, computer, food, or those kind of things. ඉතින් මේගොල්ලෝ මේ දීලා තියෙන මාකර්ස් ලට හින්ට් එකක්, right? ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ උත්තරේ එහෙම ඉන්කම්ප්ලීට් වෙන්න බෑ. දැන් මාකර්ට දෙනකොට ඒගොල්ලෝ verbally instructions දෙනවා, search for these 3 facts here, right? So you should say like processing an online order to purchase a mobile phone, then you should say a person ordering a mobile phone online from a mobile phone seller, right? That should be clarified clearly. Consumer to consumer describe electronic commercial transaction between consumers, right? So it is a one consumer is selling a good or service to another consumer straight away. So it's going to be consumer to consumer, right? So transactions, yeah, you can clearly say, "Nay, I'm like a person selling his mobile phone online to another person, right, who is going to use it as their personal usage, right?" Likewise, you can give many different examples, right? And yeah, so if it goes like that, it says each valid business party 0.5 marks into 2, that is 1, right? Yes, so explanation eකට 0.5, then after, no, hold on. Yeah, so ලකුණු දෙක ගානේ දීලා තියෙන්නේ, right? ඒ කියන්නේ explanation එකට definition එකට there are 2 marks, 1 mark, and for the example there is 1 mark. So 2 marks for the explanation and the example. So ඒ වගේ ලකුණු 6ක් මෙච්චර නම් දැන් papers වල හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. These questions are taken for the structured part now, right? So don't expect that much of amount, right? Again, ලකුණු 6ක් කියලා කියන්නේ 15න් 6ක්, it's huge one, right? So in second one, the next part, they are asking about chairman of a company is considering fax, email, and web as communication tools for B2E, business to employee application. Being an ICT student, recommend the most appropriate tool with reasons. Yeah, so it's going to be email because it is the cheapest one, right? It's easy to communicate. You can communicate with many different people at once, right? So those kind of advantages, they have given many justifications, right? So මෙතන at least ඒගොල්ලෝ දෙකක්වත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතන ඒගොල්ලෝ වචනෙන් කියලා නැහැ දෙකක් ඕනේ කියලා. But marking it says 1 mark for each valid justification up to 2, right? So simple and easy to use, easy to obtain, easy to maintain, right? Easy to access from low-end electronic devices, right? Each individual can have his or her own email addresses. Likewise, there are many, right? If you got any alternative answers, just let me know, right? So they have given 1 mark for choosing the email and 2 marks for the any different 2 factors, right? So mark it. And the next part is asking about the definition of an agent. So it is going to be the very same thing we discussed in the TUT, right? A software agent is a computer program which works autonomously towards a goal in a dynamic environment on behalf of another entity over extended period of time, right? So they have underlined the key points, right? A key points ටික තියෙන වෙන explanation එකක් උනත් දුන්නට කමක් නැහැ, but it's better you go with this, right? It is what they have given as the definition as the agent. මම ටියුට් එකේ ඔයගලන්ට දීලා තියෙන්නේ මේකම තමයි, right? So 2 marks if you got it correctly. And as the final question, they have asked, give 2 main characteristics of an agent. So මම ගොඩක් වෙලාවල් වලදී ඔයගලන්ට ඔක කියලා තියෙනවා, when you are giving the characteristics of an agent, always go for the top 5 or like the hot 5, right? Autonomous, intelligence, right? Perform in a dynamic environment, right? Proactive, reactive, self-governed, right? Flexible, those kind of things, right? So here they have given many different reasons. They only ask for 2 things, right? If you got any different answers, just let me know, right? And the very last question is talking about the applications, right? briefly explain an example where agent technology could be used efficiently. So the applications, we discuss about those things. Agents can be used in transportation to minimize the traffic jam and to have the efficient traffic lighting system and transportation system, right? In defense, for the battlefield interactions, right? So uh, like fighting strategies and all these things will be can be taken by the web agent, right, or the software agent. The web crawler, it's a server based program that continuously or periodically scan the web or selected portion of the web looking for information of interest. එතකොට එක එක තැන්වල වෙබ් crawling වෙනවා, right? E-commerce websites වල, information websites වල, research websites වල. So they are just collecting the information who are being interacting with this content, right? And the web browsers, right? It's a client-side interface which is helping to the end users or the users who are using the browsers and helping them to maintain or like the control or the interaction, helping to interaction with the particular interfaces, right? We can use robot as an agent, right? So it's clearly the agent in the robot interacts with the environment, and we can take the other way around as well. Agent to interact with the robot, right? The previously agent can be installed into the robot and ask him to interact with the environment, and later it says agent is there to interact with the robots, right? And user interfaces, as I told you, right? So any one of those. So it says any valid example, 1 mark, correct explanation, 1 mark, right? So that is how the marks are given. So please see how many out of 15 that you got, and please add how many out of 60 that you have got, right? 2011 ඉඳලා ඕක මේන්ටේන් කරගෙන යන්න. එතකොට අග ඒවට යනකොට ඔයාගේ ඉම්ප්‍රූව්මන්ට් එකක් ඔයාට පේන්න ඕන, right? So that is why I'm asking always to say what are the things that is not fits with you, right? So we can discuss, right? All right, so do the calculation, people, and see how many you got out of 60. එතකොට ඔයාගේ top 4 questions consider කරාට කමක් නැහැ, right? එතකොට ඔය මම 6ම කරන්න කියන්නේ ඔයගලන්ට හොඳටම ස්කෝර් කරන්න පුළුවන් 4. එතකොට ඔයගලන්ට හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් papers දැන් 10ක් තියෙනවා ඔයගලන්ට කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා A level ඒවා, right? එතකොට එක කරගෙන යනකොට ඔයාට අයිඩියා එකක් එනවා, right? මම මෙන්න මේ දේවල් ටිකට තමයි ලෑස්ති කියලා. ඒක නිසා අතහරින්න එපා එක question එකක්වත්. මොකද සමහරවිට ඔයා හිතන්නෙම නැති question එකක් ඔයාට fix වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So try the entire 6, right? Okay, so let's move to the 2012 paper, right? Meanwhile, send me the total mark, people. The hatting key at the Kevatevanda, seeing key at the Kirakatevan Lamai, right? Hatting can you seeing balandoni, can structure the Kepaha, the Hayava Hatarata Hatalihin, SAK Pahaleva Hatarata hatting. ඒතර ඔක්කොම එකතු කරාම CI ඒක දෙකට බෙදලා MCQ portion එකත් එක්ක එකතු කරන්න ඕන, right? ඒතකොට second paper එකට marks allocate වෙලා තියෙන්නේ 100ෙන්, ඒක 50න් කීයද කියලා බලන්න දෙකට බෙදන්න, ඊට පස්සේ MCQ හරි ගන්නත් එක්ක එකතු කරන්න. So you will be having the total marks, right? So meanwhile I'm going to take the 2012 paper, the marking scheme. 12 එක කට්ටිය mark කරගෙනද ඉන්නේ? නැත්තම් මාක් කරගත්තේ නැද්ද තාම? Right, so this is the marking. Right, හරි. මේකෙන් ටක් ගාලා මාක් කරගන්න. right මාක් කරගෙන නේද අපි කරන විදිහ දන්නවනේ හරි වැරදි ටික මට එවන්න ටක් දාලා right right ළමයි මම හිතනවා හැමෝම පේපර් එක කරලා ඇති කියලා පේපර් එක නැතුව කතා කරන එක කිසි තේරුමක් නැහැ කරන්න නැතුව කතා කරන එක right ඒක නිසා මිස් කරන්න එපා දැන් right exam dates change වෙයිද නැද්ද කියන එක අපි දන්නේ නැහැ දැනට තියෙන තත්ත්වය අනුව ඔයගලන්ට ඔක්තෝබර් 3rd වල ඉඳලා exam එක තියෙනවා right ඒ කියන්නේ හරියටම තව මාස දෙකයි තියෙන්නේ right then ජූලි මාස ඉවරයි right so you have to run right right mark කරගන්න මට incorrect answers ටික එවන්න විනාඩියක් දෙන්නවා මට ගාලා එනවා right ජනුද මට හම්බුණා ළමයි අනිත් අය ඉක්මනට එවන්න ලකුණු ටික ලකුණු කියන්නේ questions ටික right භාෂිතක ටික හම්බුණා කොහොමද මගේ පෑන 9 12 17 23 26 33 46 okay තව තුන් දෙනෙක් එවන්න තියෙනවා ෂෝන් කරගන්න බැරි වෙන්නේ නැති නේද පුතා මට ඔයාට ඊයේ කියන්නත් උනේ නෑ 2012 කතා කරනවා කියන එක ෂෝන් පේපර් එක කරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණාද never mind ෂෝන් දැන් කොහොමද අද අපිට MCQ එක කතා කරලා ඉවර කරගන්න පුළුවන් මේ ගොඩක් දුරට so it's better you try the second paper when we are meeting next time right right okay Sasita I got yours 37th 38 right okay භාෂිත අපි බලමු කොහොමද සසිතගේ ටිකත් එක්ක අපිට ඔක්කොම ටික කතා කරගන්න වෙයි 44 is there 45 is there 46 47 48 49 50 okay දීලක ඩිස්කනෙක්ට් වුණා නේද දීලක මොකක් හෝ අවුලක් ගියා අපි බලමු කොහොමද කියලා දීලක මට question numbers ටික එවන්න පුතා ඔයාගේ විතරයි එන්න තියෙන්නේ
sir මම
දීලක
මම මේ type කරගෙන problem එකේ මම මේක ලියුණා
හරි දීලක මට දැන් එවන්න අවුලක් නැහැ දැන් එවන්න type කරලා දීලක මට පළවෙනි 10 ඇතුළේ තියෙන ටික ඔයා මුලින් එවලා තියන්න. right, okay, right, okay.
සර් ඔය 42කින් පස්සේ තියෙන ටික නම් කොහොම වගේ ඕනේ සර්?
right, okay, right. හරි, හරි. Right, okay. Right, so let's start discussing. We got all the things. So the first we have fourth one to discuss. Consider the following statement about data and information. The symbols 1010111101. So they have given some of the things. Which of the above statement best describe the information? That is what they are asking, right? So symbols 1010111101, right? So it is symbols, right? So part B is asking number, character, and images, right? Again, when we are like defining the data, we are referring into the symbols, numbers, characters, and images. So A and B definitely going to be data, right? So A and B is not going to be in your answer, right? And C, facts derived from a study. Definitely it's going to be an information, right? So C should be in your answer, right? So for that reason, your answer is going to be the third one. Anyway, මොකද AB ඉන්න බෑ. එතකොට AB ඉන්නවා second answer එකේ, fourth answer එකේ, and fifth answer එකේ, right? So we can't take those, right? C, facts derived from a study. So if we are deriving something from something, so that means we are taking like we are processing something. Then like derive කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ process කරලා දෙයක් ගන්න ඕනේ, right? So C should be in your answer. Facts that have been processed in such way to be meaningful to the person who receives it. Definitely, that's one of the definition of an information. So fourth one, the third should be the answer, right? So the seventh, which of the following statement is correct about relational database? Relational database. The primary key of a table is selected from alternate keys. No, primary key of a table is selected from candidate keys, right? So once we select the primary key, then candidate keys are referring as alternate keys thereafter, right? So first one is incorrect. Duplicate values are not allowed in foreign key field of a table. තමයි විනාඩියක් ඉන්න මම මේක එතනට දාගන්නම් එතකොට ලේසි මට. No, what's happening? Right. Okay, so the seventh is the one that we were discussing. Right, so the primary key of a table is selected from alternate keys. We discussed it is wrong. Duplicate values are not allowed in foreign key field of a table. No, there is nothing like that. If it is going to be a foreign key, if it is a one-to-many relationship or in many-to-many relationship, you can see foreign key column can have multiple or like the duplicating values. දැන් එක ළමයෙක් ස්පෝර්ට්ස් කීපයක් කරනවා කියලා කිව්වා foreign key is going to have duplicate values, right? So the second one is again wrong. So first one is wrong because of this alternate keyword, right? Because these are called primary keys not being selected from the alternate keys, and duplicate values are not allowed. It is not allowed. Not it is not allowed. It is allowed in foreign key field. Where it is not allowed is the primary key field. Primary key field cannot have duplicate values. All other fields can have duplicate fields, duplicate values, right? Third one, a table cannot be created without a primary key. I think we have done the SQL and we have created tables without primary keys, right? So not cannot, but can be created without a primary key. So that is wrong again. A foreign key of a table should be the primary key of another table. Definitely. That is the definition of the foreign key, right? So the fourth one is the correct one. A table should have alternate keys. Should and should not, right? There is not a must, right? තියෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නැති වෙන්නත් පුළුවන්, right? Alternate means primary එක කෙනා තෝරගත්තම primary කෙනෙක් විදිහට වෙන්න සුදුසුකම් තිබ්බ කට්ටියනේ. So එහෙමයි ඉන්නත් පුළුවන් නොඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. right? ඒ කියන්නේ මුළු table එකටම primary key කියලා ගන්න පුළුවන් එක්කෙනෙක් විතරයි විතරක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්තම් කීප දෙනෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන් ඒකෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් තෝරගන්න පුළුවන්. right? So this is not always true. So the fourth one is going to be the answer. Eighth. So it is asking what is the function of a DNS in a computer network? This is clearly a theory question, right? DNS is doing what? Mapping IP addresses mapping domain names into IP addresses. That is the function. Translate domain names into IP address. So the second one is going to be the answer, right? Assigning IP address. If this is assigning dynamically, it's going to be the DHCP. Right, protect a network from viruses, we can say firewall and the virus guard. Connect multiple networks together, it's going to be a router or any gateway devices. Provide directory service to the users, method to make an app server. Database server, but those are not in our syllabus, right? So anyway, the answer is going to be the second one. It's a clear-cut answer, right? So the ninth question. Yeah, clearly this is out of syllabus, Lamai. Right, the command that can be used to check a network configuration in a computer is ipconfig, and it is not in your syllabus now, right? So you can take the marks for that, right? And 12th, an electronic washing machine can be best considered as an, right? Obashita.
network command මේ එකක්වත් අලුත් සිලබස් එකේ නැද්ද?
නෑ. ping සුත් නෑ. ping කරන එකක් නෑ. IP config නෑ. trace route netstat ඒවා තිබුණ නැහැ. right? ping and IP config තමයි පරණ එකේ තිබුණේ. ඒ දෙන්න අලුත් එකේ නෑ දැන්. හරිද පුතේ? Right, okay, so the 12th one, an electronic washing machine can be best considered as. So electronic washing machine is a device or a mechanical thing which contains a small system inside it, right? So it is called the embedded systems, right? So here the embedded one is not being given as the answer, right? So the only place that we can go is the automated system, right? It's not going to be an information system. We are not inputting any information into it. Not an expert system because it is not related to the any expertise, right? Not a transaction processing system, as well as not management supportive system, right? So the 12th, you can go for the second one, right? And 13th, which is the correct markup for the comment in HTML. That's a pretty straightforward one. How we are going to create a comment? It's the angle bracket, exclamation, 2 dashes, and the things, then another 2 dashes and the angle bracket. So definitely it's going to be the second one, right? So this is going to be the CSS comments. CSS well the double lines CSS hari PHP hari, right? It's hold on. Oh yeah, it's going to be the PHP. CSS well we had the backslash and the star and the star and the backslash. That is for the CSS, right? So 13th one, second is the answer. 14th, the required minimum and maximum working hours per day for an employee in a factory are 5 and 12 respectively. Which of the following is the most appropriate validation check to ensure that the integer value entered as the working hours through a web-based form is correct, right? Now it says integer value, right? So the type is being given on that place, right? So the minimum and maximum working hours per day is 5 and 12, they say. So since they are talking about minimum and maximum things, they are talking about a range, right? So what they are trying to figure out, they are saying is which of the following is the most appropriate validation check to ensure that the integer value entered as and working hours through a web-based form is correct. කියන්නේ දැන් 5යි 12යි අතර ගානක්ද දාලා තියෙන්නේ integer value එකක් දෙනවා කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ කියලා තියෙනවා. So we need a range check, right? To check whether it is in between 5 and 12, right? 17th, the network layer of OSI reference model provided the flow control, right? All people seems to need data processing. Yeah. Network layer, yeah. 17th, what is the answer? Remember it as the flow control. 17th, no, not the flow control. It's the fourth one. Hold on. Just a second, Amai, just a second. Yeah, flow control and error control happens in the transport layer, right? So not the flow control. Packet routing the packets. Yes, the fourth one. This is regarding the network layer, right? So if we consider about the other things, this is network layer and error detection. Error detection happens at the data link layer. Flow control and error control. Error correction happens. Error correction කියන එක අපි ලොකුවටම කතා බහ කරන්නේ නැහැ. I'll see whether the error correction, how the error correction is done. Flow control, it happens in the transport layer. Right? Inter-process communication. Inter-process communication, where it comes from, like the application itself in session, it is happening, the compression types. Session management is happening in the session layer, inter-process communication. I'll look into that, Lamai. I'll take a part of look in there. Right? But the answer for this, the network layer, routing the data packets. Right? Okay. මෙහෙම ඕගලන්ට මතක තියාගන්නත් පුළුවන්. Flow control and error control. ඒගොල්ලෝ this happens when the communication or like the transporting of data happens. දැන් අපි data කියන්නේ වතුර කියලා හිතුවොත් බට එක යන අපේ hose එකක යන hose එක ඇතුලේ වතුර ගලන එක වතුර වල flow එකයි ඒක ගලන එකේ error එකක් මොන හරි තියෙනවා නම් ඒක බලාගන්නේ transport layer එකේ. right? මොකද transport නේ ගමන් කිරීමට අදාළව තියෙන්නේ. Right? So flow control as well as error control. Right? The flow control එකම error control වෙනවා කියන එකත් ඔලුවට අරගන්න. So those are happens in the transportation layer. Right? Routing data packets, you can memorize that as the routing happens through the router. So it refers to the different kinds of networks. So routing of data packets happens with the network layer. Right? Error detection, that is of course you have to go with the data link layer. අර අපි ඇඳපු ලොකු picture එක චුට්ටක් මතක තියාගන්න. right? දැන් ඕක මම මතක තියාගන්න යන්නේ. මොන වෙලාවට picture එක refer කරලා ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක්ක කතා කරනවා, but for you have to remember that. Right? Okay. So the 19th, what is the result of evaluating Python expression 10? Oh, no, this is easy. 10%3, that means 10 modulus 3. So it means 10 is divided by 3. So you say 3 into 3 is 9. 1 is remaining. So this is what you call the remainder. So the answer is going to be the second one. Right? So for 19th, it's going to be the second one is the answer. Right? So this can be taken from the modulus. This can be taken from the flow division. Right? Now, if I say 10 flow divided by 3, it's going to be 3. 10 modulus 3, it's going to give you 1. And if you say 10 divide by 3, definitely it's going to be 3.33 something. Right? Okay, so that is the answer for the 19th. Okay, people, any questions so far? Is that clear? Do you need me to talk about any other question before 19th? Yes? All right. Okay. Right. So the next part is the 20th. Consider the following pseudocode. Right? What is the output of the above pseudocode? So the it is a pseudocode, Lamai, right? Not a Python code. So they're asking for the output. So we have to hand trace it, right? So they have total, right? So it is starting from 0. Then it says 4 count 1 to 10. So මෙතන අපි 4 එකත් එක්ක අපිට පොඩි නේද අපි කරලා තියෙන නිසා පොඩි idea එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. What they are saying, 4 count equal 1 to 10. So count is going to be changed from 1 to 10. So count will be 1 at the first point, right? And 4 is an iteration loop. So one after the other per iteration, count value will be increased, right? So it says if count is odd, that means this count value is odd. So for the moment it is odd. Then it says total equals total plus count. So that means 0 plus 1 will be happen. So 1 is given because total is 0 for the moment. Count is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So total become 1. So it ends. Then the next count happens, right? So that means count will become 2. So from here you have to go to here, right? The next count එක කියලා කියන්නේ 4 එකේ ඊළඟ iteration එකට යන්න කියන තැන. So you are going to consider here again, right? So if count is odd, now count is not odd, it is 2. 2 is not an odd number, so we are not going to this value, this particular statement. So end ifs and next count is taken, so count will become 3. So then if condition is checked, count is odd, so yes, so it will be written as 3, right? So 1 and 3 will get added, so 1 and 3 means 4, right? And then the counter will increase to 4. Now you can have the idea what is going on here, right? If it is a odd number, you are going to add those things to a total, and if it is even number, it's not going to add into the total, right? So it goes from 1 to 10. So on that journey, 5 will be added. I'm sorry. Yeah. 5 will be added. 6 is not. 7 will be added. 8 is not. 9 will be added. 10 is not. So these are the numbers that is going to add up together, right? So not the second one.
Sir,
Over there.
sir, for loop එකේ මේ 1 to 10 කිව්වම මේ 9 වෙනකන් නේද සර් කියන්නේ?
අපි Python වලට ගත්තමත් පුතේ 9 වෙනකන් යනවනේ. According to the Python ගත්තා 9th කියන position එකට වෙනකන් deliver වෙනවා. 9ට කලින් නතර කරන්නේ නැහැ. 10ට කලින් නතර කරන්නේ.
ඔව් 10 මේ එයා ගන්න නැහැ සර්.
ඔව්. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙහෙමයි. Python වලට අදාළව ගියොත් තමයි 10 ගන්නෙ නැත්තේ. අපි pseudo code වල යනකොට කියන්නේ iterate වෙන්න තියෙන ප්‍රමාණයම consider කරන්න වෙනවා. මොකද Python කියන්නේ 4 එක කියලා කියන්නේ general structure එකක් නේ pseudo code එක කතා කරනකොට. ඒක language එකෙන් language එකට change වෙනවා. දැන් Java වල ගත්තොත් 1 to කියන්නේ for loop එක පාවිච්චි කරොත් ඒකේ end එක වෙනකන් යනවා. Python වල එකකට කලින් ඉවර වෙනවා. right? ඒක නිසා දැන් මේක එක පැත්තකින් අසාධාරණයි. මොකද ඔයගලන්ට for එක කතා කරන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ Python එක්ක. ඉතින් මේගොල්ලෝ මෙතනින් මේක අහලා තියෙන එක එක පැත්තකින් පොඩ්ඩක් අසාධාරණයි. නමුත් අර අපි Python වලට අදාළව fix කරලා ගත්තත් අපිට උත්තරේ එනවා. තේරුණාද වාශිත?
ඔව් සර් මේ ඔඩ් එකෙන් දා 10 කොහොමත් ගන්නේ නැහැ.
ඔව් කොහොමත් 10 ගන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අපි ඔඩ් ටිකනේ එකතු කරන්නේ. ඒතර අපේ උත්තරේට බලපෑමක් එන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So your final answer is going to be 1 plus 3 is 4, 4 plus 5 is 9, 9 plus 7 is 16, 16 plus 9 is 25. So your final answer is going to be the fourth one, 25. Right? 21st. Consider the following models. Which of the above are a database model? Yes, there are network model, there are relational database model. What are the other things? There is hierarchical model. There is, what else? Flat file system, right? Object-oriented model, right? Those are the other three, right? Hierarchical is there. object relational is there. Then after flat file system is there, right? So A and C clearly. Waterfall is not a database model. It is a system development lifecycle model, right? 22nd. Consider the following statement with respect to I'm sorry. Consider the following statement about relational database. A table is considered as an object. දැන් ඔතන හරි controversial තැනකට එනවා මේ relational database එකක් නේ. ඒක නිසා object එකක් කියන වචන අපිට ගන්න බෑ. Right? මොකද ඒක object relational එකේදී තමයි a table is considered as an object වෙන්නේ. Right? So A is wrong. A column of data in a table is called field and attribute of that table. Yeah, that is correct. A row of data in a table is called a record. Yeah, that is correct as well. So you can go with B and C only. Is it the answer? 22nd. Yeah, the fifth one. Fifth one is the answer. Right? මෙතන ඔයගොල්ලෝ මිස් කරගන්න පාර්ට් එක තමයි මේ object එකක් කියන එක. In relational database model, table is considered as a relation, not a relationship. It's a relation. Relation කියලා තමයි යාව කතා කරන්නේ. Correlation එකක් නැත්නම් table එකක් කියන. A record can be given another name called tuple. Right? A field can be given another name called attribute. Right. So the 23rd, consider the following statement with respect to ER diagrams. A relationship in an ER diagram can be implemented as a table in a relational database. Yeah, that can be, because when we are creating the many-to-many relationship, we consider about the relationship. A relationship may have attributes attached to it. Yeah, yes, that's correct. Right? So the attributes attached to the relationship is called the descriptive attributes. Right? So then the third one, only two entities can be attached to a relationship. No. There can be like more than one relationship. භාෂිත tuple කියලා කියන්නේ record එකට කියන තව නමක්. ඒ කියන්නේ record එකක් කියන එකට කියන්න පුළුවන් තව නමක්. ඒක relational database එකේ jargon එක භාෂාව ඒගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරනවා. table එකකට relation එකක් කියලා කියනවා. record එකකට tuple එකක් කියලා කියනවා. right? ඒක තව නමක්. එහෙම ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. Right? So only two entities can be attached to a relationship. No, we got unary relationships, right? When it is connected like this, it is called a unary relationship. And when two entities are being connected, it is called binary relationship. And three entities are connected, we call it a ternary relationship. And in the relational database, we are talking about it. The relationship can be connected with n number of entities. Right? So there is no restriction, right? So C is wrong. A and B can be considered as the answer. Third one, 23rd, third one. Right? Yes. Then 26th. What's happened with the simplification? So they're asking you to simplify this. So only thing you need to remember is the De Morgan's and some laws, right? So you are given like this: x dot y bar into x bar plus y and y plus y bar, right? So that is what they have given. So definitely this can be taken as 1. So identity law effects, right? So then you can take this into the level of x dot y bar, x bar plus y dot 1, right? So if something multiplied by 1, it's going to give you the same thing. So no changes happen. X dot y, I'm going to apply De Morgan's x bar plus y bar. And here x bar plus y, and we are not going to consider 1 because when it is multiplied by 1, it's 1 again. Now we are going to apply the distributive law. So x bar into x bar plus x bar into y plus y bar into x bar plus y bar into y. Right? Y bar into y, definitely a 0. And x bar into x bar going to give you x bar. So x bar plus x bar dot y plus, I'm going to write this as x bar dot y bar, right? Then a plus 0 is there, so it will do no harm. And from these things, x bar is common. So takes x bar out. So it gives you 1 plus y bar, right? So which is going to give you, like in Boolean algebra, if you add anything with 1, it's going to give you 1 as the answer. So it's going to be x bar dot 1, which is going to be x bar as the answer. So the answer is going to be the first one. Right? Okay. 29th. People, is that clear? Calculation එකේ doubts තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. Right, okay. So hold on, people. So the next one, 29th. Right. So in 29th, it says, which of the following data storage device provide the fastest random access? So this is regarding the memory hierarchy, right? What are the memory hierarchy we got? We got registers. We got cache memory. It is L1, L2, and L3 cache memories are there. Then the RAM. Then the secondary storage, right? So when we go down, what happens? Access speed increase. So access time decreased because speed එක වැඩි නම් time එක අඩු වෙනවනේ, right? Cost per bit decrease. Registers වලට තමයි වැඩිම මිල තියෙන්නේ, right? And capacity increase. Physical size increase. Density increase, right? So likewise it happens. So which of the following data storage device provide the fastest random access? So it has main memory, magnetic disk, CD, DVD, flash drives, hard disk. So if you consider this category, all are secondary storage, and RAM, the main memory, stands before them, right? So the answer is going to be the first one, right? Because main memory is going to be have the fastest. right? So 29th, the first one is going to be the answer, right? So if you consider about the magnetic disk, CD, DVD, hard disk කියලා කිව්වම මෙතනදී මොන hard disk එකද කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ define කරලා නැහැ. So from the magnetic CD, DVD and flash drive is the highest access speed. CD, DVD is the next. Magnetic disk is the next. CD, DVD is the last. Right? And 30th, do we have 30th? Yes. A person employed in an overseas country placed an online order to deliver a birthday present to his mother, who is living in Sri Lanka, using the web-based service of a company. The transaction of ordering the birthday present could be best classified as. මෙතන පොඩ්ඩක් පරිස්සමට කියවන්න. මොකද මේක කියලා තියෙන්නේ a person employed in an overseas country placed an online order to deliver a birthday present to his mother who is living in Sri Lanka. Right? So using the web-based services of a company. Right? So the one who is in the overseas paying for a company to deliver this particular birthday present to his mom. So the transaction happens between a consumer, the person, and with the company. Company is the one who providing the service, right? So it's going to be business to consumer, right? 30th, the third one should be the answer. Is it the third one? 30, oh no, this is the second. Why is the second? Consumer to business. A person employed in overseas country based on